Talk Television right here, right now.
That's right. It's Prairie Talk with Blades and Mayo. I'm Shane Blades.
And I'm Craig Mayo. That's right. Welcome to the show, and remember our email address. That's right. prairietalktv@aol.com. Send us something.
That's right. We want to hear from you, man. Your thoughts, your suggestions, how we can make the show better. We want to hear how Little House is making your life peaceful. Because we live in LA, let's face it. It's a little bit scary out there. But when Little House comes on, we know what it does to the family's togetherness. And we want to hear that. And who knows, if you email us, you might even be a guest on the show and get to meet me and Craig here, huh?
Like our our guest today,
That's right.
She emailed us, and her email was simply one word. That's right. It just said, Albert. Oh.
Who does she want to talk about, Craig?
I wonder what today's show is going to be about, huh? I have such anticipation.
No.
I can't wait. Let's just
jump right into it.
Let's just jump right into it. So please, just welcome our guest, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for coming today.
Elizabeth,
pleasure.
Thank you so much.
This is great having you.
I am excited. I mean, where else would I be able to unleash these bottled up feelings about my feelings for Albert, who's been the role model, the litmus test for all of my boyfriends, all of the male.
Do they all look like Albert?
I think it goes deeper than that. I mean, I have this theory about Little House on the Prairie, and that when we were growing up in that age, there were the yellow shows and the blue shows. And the yellow shows were the Grizzly Adams, the Little House,
Gritty.
Swiss Family Robinson, those Seven Alone, those kind of adventures through the wilderness, the Donner Party types. And then there was the Buck Rogers Star Trek world. No.
That wasn't your thing.
It wasn't.
Yeah. Albert wasn't on any of those shows, so what's the point of...
Well, but what Albert... I'll get to that. But the deeper set of values that were in the show, and it's not about a family values thing.
Yeah.
It's about an adventure in reality and real love and the earth. And Albert, being a city boy, being a boy who was a street urchin,
that's right,
lived under the porch, alcoholic father. He became...
all that noise, I don't know, he probably had some pretty bad nights of sleep.
Lots of bad nights. Well, he slept under there and was stealing, something that I've taken upon myself.
All that crackling was probably a little foreshadowing to the old Sylvia Albert episode. You
steal now? Is that what you said?
Well, I did it when I was younger. Albert then, was that kind of thing. He knew what he needed to survive.
And he grabbed it.
So did you grow up poor?
And not only, no, I grew up well taken care of with a paw. My paw was like Pa.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And Albert, the street urchin, right, had this alcoholic, awful father, this abusive man. The love of my life had very such the same thing. His father died in prison and everything like this. And but it's that ability to recoup oneself and take those resourcefulness skills that you do learn on the street, right, and to translate those into this deeper realm of value when you have someone like Pa.
And
to rescue you from
Albert was so good at that, just because, he was on the show for years, but you always had that sense that he originally came from the street,
He had the edge, and he brought it to the prairie.
That's right, yeah.
Hey, you gotta clap for that one.
That's why he was hot. He was the Garveys were a little soft. Well, Jonathan Garvey, there was something going on, but he was too old.
Right.
Albert had that little lip that kind of pouted up a little bit. And...
the black hair,
he was sexy. I would envision myself and live vicariously through Half Pint, wanting to be in his family, but wanting to start a family with him. It was sort of an incest.
Wow.
Whoa.
So when he finally hooked up with Sylvia and rescued her from that, with the intention of rescuing her from that raping situation, with her father.
Sure.
And she repressed her femininity. She bound herself, which I did in 5th grade. I didn't like my breasts.
You didn't?
And when then it happened with Sylvia, I used to use tape, but they didn't have tape back then.
Right.
What kind of tape? Scotch?
I used masking tape, but she used like a binding thing because her father had humiliated her from being a woman. Albert rescued her from despising her own femininity.
Sure.
So that when the two of them, conjured up this escape plan It was wonderful. But she had to escape before it was too late.
They had some great
She hid in the barn.
Yeah, I know.
How hot is that?
I saw.
And then Albert found her, and they had that moment of that respite, that love, that deep, intense love. And then,
and it's
then
great.
the rapist came in. Remember
Yeah.
the man with the mask.
It was the scariest episode I ever
That was the
remember.
scariest episode.
And everybody
I
thought
had
the rapist was
nightmares
the
about
father. That was the big thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know.
No.
Not on that show, my friend.
No, I had nightmares about that episode, and I still, to this day, remember that rapist, that coming in, that crackle, with them hiding in
And
the
that
barn.
close up of his feet, and it's just like crack, 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 crack.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Ah! And she screamed.
Yeah.
Didn't the timbers come down?
Yeah.
There, because it was an old barn, and
Well, she was
these
climbing-
rafters were coming down. She was climbing.
The ladder.
That's right.
She was.
And then they shot, and she fell, and she screamed, and she landed on all those brambles of.
In on her back, and
her back.
Albert ran
She
over to her.
died. Didn't she die?
Yeah, she did.
She did.
It was
Wait a minute, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, it was. It's kind of very
Oh,
subtle because it
Albert.
happened so quick. But yeah, Albert. We were talking
That
about the
was
final words.
heartbraking.
Who was there in Doc
I was
Baker's
thinking he was
office when
so
she was dying?
fragile. He was there. Oh, that's right. Oh, Albert. His eyelashes just captured those tears.
Yeah.
Look at her, Craig.
Yeah, I know.
Look
And
at her, Craig.
I mean, look, he denied himself for all of the rest of the episodes. I can't. Well, I always thought he was in love with Laura too.
Yeah.
But Sylvia.
That could be another show, Laura and Albert.
I know.
Maybe. Because I see what you're saying.
if
I don't
I-
want to get too incesty here, but I completely understand.
Well, she stuck up for him.
If I-
Remember when he was getting picked on because he was a little cutie.
Yeah,
he
well,
was a little
like
boy.
after that Sylvia episode, it was probably like 4 or 5 episodes before he started liking another girl again. I think it was because
No,
usually
I don't remember him liking another girl. And maybe that was my denial.
no, Albert liked all the teachers and all the girls.
Miss
and,
Beadle.
Yeah, he liked a lot of girls,
He
but
was a
after
good
the
student.
Sylvia episode, there was an extra chunk of episodes there where he didn't like anybody because of the Sylvia thing.
Yeah. Yeah, he was always carrying that torch, which I hoped to fill.
So basically, that's the kind of guys you're going for nowadays. The ones with the deep-rooted issues that
Yeah.
you can bring out.
The
and
bad,
hopefully
well, the
make it.
bad boys who are actually good and who can make it, who make it,
Right.
because they've had to overcome the obstacles of the negligence and longing and abuse, and but they're survivors.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Albert was
They
a
are.
survivor. He made it through even through the morphine episode. You know that was.
I know that was a little. Well, you have to feel sorry for him. I mean, it was a transgression. It was a weakness.
Yeah,
and he was human.
And it was just like, it was so surprising to see that episode. Like, wow, that's a pretty tough episode. That was a very special episode.
It was a
But
tough episode.
Yeah, I don't think he knew how addictive it
Yeah.
was at the same time. But there was so much pain that he was carrying from Sylvia, from his father,
Yeah.
his mother. I don't think we ever heard about.
I mean, you got to take responsibility for your own actions, Elizabeth. He knew the morphine was bad, and he just kept taking it. I mean, what excuse do you have for that? I mean, you can't back him up on everything.
Well, I mean, he wasn't a goody-goody. He was no El Manzo. He was no Carrie or Mary. He had that darker side, and I think that it was brave for them to take someone who is so sympathetic like Albert, and to take that kind of risk.
So basically, you're
mean-
looking for drug addicts.
Well, who have a recreational side to them, but who
Oh, of
also
course,
know
sure.
that it's not the end all be all, and who can pull themselves out of it. I think that anybody who can tackle an obstacle like drugs,
Right.
I mean, and what he did to get them too.
I did it myself.
Yeah, he stole.
You
He
did more-
stole from
he
the
stole,
old Doc Baker.
But he also had the wherewithal to lie about his blindness. Remember when his father tried to get him back and
Yeah,
he pretended
that's
to
right.
be blind? How brilliant is that?
Yeah, because he was.
I don't know how if I would have been able to go through those kind of deaths.
Because he was torn between going to see his real dad and the Ingalls, and the Ingalls wanted him. They loved Albert, but Albert had to make his decision, and he made it right there in that scene when he just pretended to be blind.
I know. Well, and that just sets about deeper issues, nature, nurture, or who's your real father? Is it somebody who bears you genetically?
Right.
And Albert had that side, obviously.
Yeah.
Right.
Or is it somebody who he'd learned what love is?
Yeah.
I think of all the characters, he was the one who was most capable of evolving into love. I mean, Paul was like this unconditional altruistic love.
God bless him. God bless
And
him.
Albert was the one who was tempted and yet chose real love.
Yeah.
Eros. I mean, it's biblical in that.
Yeah, and it showed his other father's true colors of like just wanting him to be a workhorse. You know, Albert was no mule. You know.
No, which brings up
Yeah.
child labor laws and brings up
I mean,
the American dream. He was
Yeah.
the self-made.
I mean, for a
Man,
few years there, I
to
would
be.
say he was probably a little rat. You know, when he was
He
living
was a
on the
rat.
street.
Didn't they call him street rat urchin? I think I learned
Yeah,
that word
yeah.
urchin from
And
that
it's-
show.
yeah.
Sure did.
Yeah, but there was part of me that wanted that.
The
Wanted
bad
to
boy
have
side.
that. I wanted to be it myself, but also
Yeah.
have it if I couldn't be it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those muddy streets, and those little boots he had, and those little floods.
Yeah.
I think Elizabeth's got a wild side.
I know.
Frankie. I don't know.
I know.
I think it is, though. I think it is. God, tell us what
Well,
you
but
guys
it's
think.
got to be
Hey,
in
hey,
his head and his
Hey,
brain.
hey,
too, and
wait,
you
hold
have
on
an
there.
intelligence.
We got a wild side on this show, don't we?
That's right.
We got a pretty crazy wild side on
What,
this show.
what?
Well, it's no Albert, but we think you'll be pretty
Yeah.
content with what we have.
Because, you know, we got a surprise for you. We got a special guest, not for
What,
you,
what?
for us, for the show. That's right. Well, you know everybody out there. It's time to welcome Melissa Gilbert.
Are you serious? Half pint?
That's right, everybody. Half Pint is going to be here. That's right, Elizabeth.
Wait, where?
Well, we got to bring her out, but you know, it's you know, this is the
my
big
God.
big part of the
Oh
show.
my God.
See,
Yeah.
you're dressed all nice.
Oh
You're looking good.
my
You're going to
God.
be happy with this. I guarantee it.
Yeah, we you know, we got to introduce her. She's not going to just walk out, you know. So.
We got to give her a Little House on the Prairie introduction.
Yeah, so why don't you help us in joining Melissa Gilbert? Welcome, Melissa Gilbert. Maybe if you sing this song.
Melissa Gilbert.
Never mind. Hey, all right, Liz.
All right, knock it off.
Never mind.
Had enough.
Never.
You know
Shut
what?
up. She's not coming.
No.
You know what, Melissa? You don't think I'm starting to take this personally? You just sit at home. You sit there and let your agent not call you, let your manager not call you because you're not getting any acting roles right now, okay? Don't come on the show. We don't care. We're trying to get you back to the Laura Ingalls fame you experienced back in the heyday. And I say it every show when you don't show up. It's time to get with it, my friend. If you just want to be a housewife, that's fine. But if you want to get back to the money making and the goodness and wholesomeness of Little House on the Prairie, you better come on.
You disappointed Liz over here.
Look at her, the girl's in tears.
Look at her. She was singing a song and everything.
God, every stinking time. We apologize, Elizabeth.
Sorry,
I wanted
Liz.
to meet Half Pint. You guys set that up.
I'm so sorry. We
Sweetie, we didn't mean to. It was an accident.
I mean, that's.
thought it was going to be a great experience for you, and we're looking forward to it ourselves.
We're sorry.
Well,
Is there any?
here, I'm sorry.
Can you get Albert? I mean, what's he doing?
We'll find
Well-
out. We'll find out. I'll
No,
tell
I'm
you what.
serious about that.
Well, when we are contacting Albert,
When
and when
Melissa
some,
and Albert
and
are
when we-
together.
well, if we can get him on, we will definitely invite you back, because we want you to be part of that show. I mean, it means a lot to you. We can see.
I know.
I feel like crap. I feel like.
You guys told me that's why I came, so I can meet Melissa.
Oh, what about us?
You know, you are talking to two like quasi-celebrities here, so you should be a little bit happy at
Yeah.
least. Maybe we could sign a
You
couple
weren't there
autographs.
back when
Who's your ticket to
in
fame?
Happy Hollow or whatever it was. I can't remember. Who's my ticket to fame?
Us. That's
Us.
right. Who got you on this show?
And I was like Albert.
Who
I was a
res-
drug addict.
Who responded to your email?
Yeah, you do kind of look like Albert.
I do.
The
and-
dark
A little
hair.
bit. The dark hair. I cannot. I'm sorry because of Albert. You're a little too light, but you have dark hair.
I'm related to Albert.
You have those eyes, those dark eyes.
Yeah, that's right. And I have pain. Lots of pain.
Were you a street rat?
All right, well, that's our Meet Melissa Gilbert segment. Let's just move on with the show. Thank you, and
Thank you.
I think two other people have met besides Melissa Gilbert today. Wow,
Yeah.
wow, oh. The log ain't the only thing hot in here right now, if you know what I'm saying.
Do I remind you of Sylvia in any way?
Yeah, you do actually. You got the highlights and the hair.
She had that weird lisp. It was lisp.
Yeah.
Albert.
And when she took
Albert.
the tape off her breast,
I know.
it just
The binding. Albert, we have to run away together.
we do.
Yeah.
My father is being terrible to me.
Yeah.
Albert, I can't take it anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, so
What are you thinking right now?
I'm thinking about a role on the Prairie.
I'll tell you, it's this has been an
rolling.
interesting show.
Yeah. Wow, I've never had this happen before in a show.
I've never ever had this happen on any show before.
I don't think you've had this happen.
Well, it was
on a show
always the underpinnings.
before.
Oh, boy.
Just all that vast nature, the fields, trees.
Did you like it when Albert was playing Charles as a child and got whipped by the old boss hog?
That was a freak, wasn't it? The fact that they had him play. There were so many Oedipal or Freudian.
Yeah, I didn't quite get that. But I would think you get the whole Albert whipping thing, you might be kind of,
Oh, when he was
time
whipped.
and time again, you'd be like, nah, hey now.
Yeah.
Like
well,
a bondage
I
type
have,
of deal?
Oh yeah, and I have experienced that too. I've had a number of experiences where bondage was part of it, and having this urge to brush someone's teeth, which is a taking care of somebody,
Right.
tie them up and brush their teeth.
Mm-hmm.
And with Albert playing, the young Charles Ingalls,
Yeah. Well,
and they
that's
went to
sexy.
that dance. Remember, they went to that dance, and he had the ribbon, and Charles was afraid.
That's right.
He didn't want to commit.
We saw Young Caroline in that
Young
episode.
Caroline!
Oh, that was a beautiful episode.
God, so many things have come out.
Caroline stayed home, didn't? No, wait a minute. Caroline stayed home, and he came, and they had their own private dance.
That's
Yes,
right.
they did.
Private dancer.
Private
Yeah.
dancer.
Dancer for
Money as
pennies, I guess.
right.
Probably pennies because,
pennies, yeah.
or gumballs, I guess, maybe.
Or on the Olsen credit.
Yeah, dancer.
Olsen
Little
credit,
Olsen
which was a
credit,
big thing
yeah.
back then.
Right.
Or the jawbreakers they had,
Yeah.
which
Right.
really stole
Right.
every episode.
Well,
Yes.
no, there were some
Yes, I did.
peppermint sticks.
There was too.
Anything
that was-
sugary, I think those little
Right.
kids just.
Now, what I can't recall, and I've gone into a little denial, is when Pa was playing the fiddle, did he do a lot of clapping? Clapping, or did he play an instrument?
No,
Remember?
Albert was the rhythm
He was
guy.
the percussion
Yeah.
section.
It was beautiful. Oh, right. Uh-oh.
He was kind of. Albert was kind of like the drum set, you know?
It's a reenactment scene.
Yeah!
I'm going to go out on the record here and say this is definitely my favorite episode for a couple of reasons. But yeah, I'm having a blast. And
Yeah.
let us know what you're thinking out there. PrairieTalkTV@AOL.com. Let us know what you think about Elizabeth and what's going on today.
And are you jealous because you're not Albert? You know, you wish you were Albert and that Elizabeth would love you. Because I am kind of wishing I had darker hair in this episode.
It always got too big and it was curly. It was like Mr. Heatmiser kind of flamed hair.
Yeah.
And he was such a good student. That's what I loved.
He always sat next to Willie, though, you know? And
Willie.
yeah.
Well, Willie, there was the alter ego of Albert.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Definitely.
They were
both
two peas
bad.
in a pod, but one was spoiled. It's like they could have gone the other way.
It was like
I don't
they
think it was any coincidence that they had a similar look.
They were both bad kids, but yet Willie was, spoiled and
Well, who wouldn't feel neglected with Nellie as a sister, you know?
yeah.
God, I don't even want to think about that. That's hurtful.
Right.
She commanded so much attention, poor little Willie. The only attention he could command is standing in the corner. You know?
Oh, he stood in the corner
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
God,
See?
his legs get tired after a while. That idiot.
I
Why don't you
know.
just calm down and
His
get with
little
the
butt.
program.
His butt was too small. Albert had a cute little butt.
I didn't
Yeah.
notice that.
Yeah, well, Willie stood in the, we saw his butt a lot more.
It's almost a sexual show today. It's getting into
Yeah.
a little, you know what I mean? But it's good sex, a good thing. Like earlier, she mentioned, the sex with tying up with the brushing of
Yeah.
teeth, which is sexy, but it also teaches good hygiene out there for the kids.
There was also that episode where Albert's sleeping in the hay, looking for his father who's sleeping in the hay. That probably
He slept a lot of places.
that probably
I mean,
got
really.
you going there. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was a preamble to sex life because there was a longing for comfort with him, to mother him, to fill that void that he didn't have, and to also be the first for him. Because remember, it was interruptus with Sylvia. I mean, I think they hinted at it. They kissed, which
Yeah.
was a lot
Yeah.
for Little House.
Did he slip her the tongue? I didn't see it.
Well, their lips, that little lip thing, and her little lisp, her tongue was closer to her mouth, really. But, and they were in nature. I mean, that's sitting on that log.
You remember those recreations they would have? Those
He probably unbound her.
Those little dream sequences they had where they would dream that they're running down a hill.
I know.
And the castle in the water and they're kissing. And
It's like a tampon commercial.
I mean,
Yeah.
that was...
It was very light and fluffy,
But it was still innocent and
very clean and just crystalline.
well, they had all the time in the world.
They did.
Yeah.
They had a lifetime, and you knew it. I mean, they were so young
They did.
and fragile, and
And who would know at the very
Romantic.
end, both of them actually die. One of them dies, but then Albert dies later on.
Yeah.
What did you think about that, by the way, when Albert finally took the dirt nap?
oh, I didn't believe it.
I could hardly believe
lived
it
on.
myself when I saw that. I was, Albert died? What's that all about?
He didn't die.
But he did. He did die
He did.
on the show. He did die.
No, he didn't.
Yes, yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
He did. He died.
Yes, he did die. It's documented.
Yeah.
He did die on the show.
Yeah, he died.
He died.
Put him up on a hill.
What?
Yeah,
He's dead.
I think she's blocking something out of her memory there.
No, I'm
I don't think
serious.
they're-
He didn't die.
Oh,
He died. He's
I
dead.
think we need to pull an old videotape out of our collection and lend it out for
think
the
we should.
next week.
Maybe we should know. We're looking at possible
No.
suicide
He
case.
went incognito, and he went back out on the street, I believe.
Okay, well, she has so much hopes in
With his doctor's skills.
Okay. Sure.
All right.
I mean, once an urchin, always an urchin, and he
You're
had to go
right,
back.
Elizabeth. We don't want any suicide. Make
No.
her sign a waiver before she leaves.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
No, he didn't die.
yeah, she.
No, he didn't. He's alive and doing well.
He's doing
okay.
great. I saw him over in Studio City.
He was actually out at Ralph's. He was
Yeah.
buying a gallon of milk, and I said, "Hey, how you doing?"
Hey.
Albert?"
He
Yeah.
doesn't go to Ralph's.
Where does he
did.
go?
He goes to farmer's market.
Well,
Yeah,
that's what I
okay.
meant. Farm
Does
to-
not go to Ralph's.
Yeah.
Don't.
He's alive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
The suspenders, God. Albert was religious. I mean, there was a religiosity in his goodness and his conversion to a life of values.
God, I tell you, so many things have been brought out. I
Wow.
never even thought about Albert in his life before, and you've just made me. And next time I watch Albert on an episode of Little House on the Prairie, I'm going to see him in a completely different light than what I had.
They
then.
would never have cast him as young Pa had there not been those inklings.
Sure. Oh my God.
Oh, do you remember the bulrushes
Yes.
over by the sawmill where Pa worked?
I recall
Yeah.
that. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
That to me was like the road
To Albert.
to home, to Albert, to the hearth, to safety.
Well, if he was still alive,
Yeah. If he, it would be even better for you.
maybe it's a road to like Albert's little grave up at the top of the hill.
Or the road to his final destination up.
Yeah.
Hey, oh God.
I know.
Can we go to break? Can
Hey.
we go to break?
He was so fragile and he was so sickly.
Well, he was. It was a tough episode.
Yeah.
And obviously,
Well, it's good that he's dead now because he's not fragile and sick anymore.
I know, but
he's alive and well.
Yeah. Unless he's like having a hard
he
time.
had
up
struggled so much as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just not fair. And if he had been living now, there would have been some kind of cure. There would have been something.
Yeah.
His little chest just collapsed. He was just kind of...
But he was a womanizer back in those days. He might
No!
have, he might have, he might
Yeah.
have got a disease or something like in today's society. So maybe it was
He
good
was
that he
not a
died.
womanizer. What are you talking
Oh,
about?
yeah, he
Don't
was.
slander him.
Yeah, he was.
What are you talking
I think
about?
you
he
have-
was sexy, but
I,
he was pure.
I think she has a lot of denial about who
Yeah,
Albert
you're
was.
kind of like making this guy out to be a saint. He
I
wasn't
don't
the
believe
saint he
you
thought he
guys.
was. What?
What are you talking about? Give me instances.
He's Miss Beadle. Every girl in the school.
He wanted to have
he
sex with
brought
his
her
sister?
Apples. I know that, but he didn't actually.
Wow.
They held hands. That was it.
When he died.
Yeah.
And he is dead.
Well,
Gone.
let's take our mind off the old death. of
I
Albert.
don't mean to get her upset,
Here.
but she's
Well, I
trying to
know
make
how-
me look like an idiot on national TV.
I'm not trying to make you look like an idiot, but I don't really want you to
Well,
slander
that's what I
him.
kinda
You
get.
take on him carnally. You take on his, bodily features, and then you slander him when he's dead. Okay,
say
I
bodily
admit it.
functions?
No, his features.
Oh,
you
for
try
crying
and
out loud.
cop his dark hair and dark eyes. You don't have that little lip thing. And then you slander him when he was buried up on the hill. He made the walk, okay? He made it.
She's down.
He made it up the hill, and that poor little street urchin became something. He made it up the hill.
I was at the park the other day, and I walked up the hill too, so take that.
You're not sickly. Your chest isn't caving in.
I got a cold.
You weren't addicted to morphine.
Please, I have sinus congestion right now, and I was in no shape to walk up that hill yesterday, but I made it
You're
through
too
the grace
tall.
of God.
You're too tall.
Oh my God.
He was, and your pants are too long, and
Oh, whatever. I guess I'm just too hip for you, huh?
I got a plate.
Give her the damn plate. I don't give a shit.
well, I don't want you to talk about Albert like that, and I'm being serious.
Okay. Give her the plate.
You want a plate?
Craig, tell him.
What? It's the time to give you what have you been talking about?
Just
I mean,
give her the
every
plate.
abandonment issue that I have is because Albert, he faded.
Yep, and now he's dead, so give her the plate. Let's go.
There's a plate.
Enjoy it.
What?
It's a plate.
Oh, Doc.
Yeah. I know it's not Albert, but
There are many steps and stages of grieving, and I will have this plate. Thank you.
well, thank
You're
you
welcome.
for coming on today.
Yeah, let's thank Elizabeth, everybody.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Elizabeth. Hey,
Thank
everybody,
you.
give Elizabeth an old big clap over here.
Yeah.
It was good.
So thank you everybody for tuning in once again to the good old Prairie Talk.
That's right. It's a little rough there towards the end. I apologize if I got out of hand to the viewers. I didn't mean to scare anybody. But, I'm back to the old Shane. now,
Yeah,
right?
it's great. When you watch, it gets us together to bring you another great show of the old Prairie Talk. That's right. So remember the email address.
PrairieTalkTV@AOL.com.
That's right. So thanks again, everybody. Tune in next week, same time, same place. Well, maybe another time or another different place,
Who
but
knows?
we're
It's
on
cable action.
everywhere. So
And until then,
good times.
good friends.
They